Hey, welcome back to my weekly wellness tip. And this one comes from a light bulb moment that I had just the other day. So typically I'll be a little more scripted. Today is a little more live and off the cuff. So the thing that popped into my brain at the end of the year, I always take that time, that buffer week kind of between Christmas and New Year's, to reflect on the year that has passed and then focus on, for in the past, it's always been goals, like what goals do I want to set like everybody else? And this year I wasn't doing that. I was doing a little bit different. And I was thinking it as planning my year, planning my journey, planning my itinerary. And I thought about how much I love planning trips. And what if this year was just like a trip, a journey through 2026? And I wouldn't go on a trip without planning some things. And actually, if you know me, I don't go on a trip without planning like every 15 minutes, using it all wisely and not wasting any of the time. So why have I not looked at my years and my calendar like that? I don't know. So if you're in the same boat, I just offer that idea. Plan your year like you're planning a trip. Obviously not clear down to every day or even every 15-minute section, but put in the things you want to do. If you're going on a trip and you were going to Florida and you knew you wanted to go to Disney, that would go on there. And why wouldn't I do that kind of thing with my actual life for more than, just my 1 or 2 week vacation out of the year? So in order to help you do that, I have a couple of ideas, and I'm just going to read them because I jotted them down. So maybe think of the things when you're reflecting, something up to 3 things. You don't need a huge long list. 1, 2, or 3 things that I'm proud of this year. Something that you did that made you proud. For me, it was getting up consistently. I didn't quite make going to bed consistent, but I did get up consistently right around 6 o'clock. That's awesome. And then I've started this YouTube channel back up. Pretty proud of that. It has not been super easy, but I've done it. And so, it doesn't have to be giant things that you're proud of. It can be little things. And then another question, where I felt most alive. Like, what were you doing, or where were you, or who were you with? Times that you just really were excited. For me, and maybe it's just because it was the most recent one, but it was starting a project with my husband. We got started on a project we've been talking about for quite a while, and we just dove in, and we started it, and I just love it. I'm just so excited, and someday when we finish it, I will share, but yeah, super exciting. Another question, what felt heavy? What were things that you didn't enjoy, that weighed you down, that took your energy? And maybe you don't want to include those in 2026. That's why we think about them. Then this is another releasing one or getting rid of one. What beliefs or habits or obligations do I need to release? So different things maybe that you did during the year that you did maybe because you felt you had to, or simply because you didn't think ahead enough to, make a boundary or say, I'm not doing that anymore, or I'm not going to be the person that does that this year just because I've done it for the last 30 years, that kind of stuff. So, just taking a little bit of time to think it all through and plan what you actually want for next year. And then we get to the exciting part, planning what you want for next year. How does 2026 want to look for you? So you can kind of work your way backwards. Maybe you start thinking about, when I sit down and do my reflection next year, what do I want to feel like? How do I want to be feeling? What do I want to look like maybe? Or where do I want to be? I want to be on vacation between the holidays next year, and I want to be doing my reflecting on the beach, or whatever. It doesn't matter. It's whatever sounds good to you. Maybe you just want to be home and have peace and quiet for a while. Sometimes that's me. So starting at the end, and then you can kind of break your year up into quarters, 3-month sections, so 4 quarters, and figure out what you would need to do in order to get to that end point. And then another way to think about it is setting 3 things. This one we've been working on. So a big something, a big goal, or a big, it could be a trip. It could be learning to play a song on the piano. Maybe you've always wanted to do that. For us, it's going to be bumping out our fence. We finally got through with the city and got approval for moving the easement. It's been a really long story, over like 10 years. So we're going to move our fence out and grass that area that's just been the kind of weedy behind the fence thing. That is not probably a big goal for anyone else, but it's something that we want done, and it would be easy to just kind of push it off and be like, oh yeah, we want that done, but if we don't put it on the calendar, it's not going to happen. So we put that one on the calendar as like our big thing to accomplish. And then some mini adventures. So 6 is a really good number. That's like every other month if you have to space them out evenly. 6, just little things, mini adventures. And it could be going somewhere, or it could just be, taking an afternoon that you're going to maybe go have coffee with somebody. Or we're going to go fishing on this Sunday. Or, maybe you can't say an exact day because that's weather dependent. We have a couple of those where we're like, we're going to do it this month. Because we're not sure what the weather will be like in March, but we're going to get that thing done in March. Trying to give you some ideas. And then the last bit, so a big something, 6 mini adventures, get them on the calendar at least by the month, if not the exact day. And then 4 habits that are winning habits, something that's going to help you improve your life. And the thing is, you're not choosing 4 all at the beginning. You're not going to say, I'm doing all these things, I'm changing all these things. Break them into your quarters. So this first quarter, I am going to focus on, still a toss-up. I'm giving myself one more day to decide which one, because with my personality, I want to do them all right now, and I know I'll be more successful if I just choose one habit to add in. Remember, I talked about habit stacking and doing things if you listen to a previous video. So, and I love the idea of only focusing on it for 3 months and then getting to add another one. So mine's either going to be really locking in my 30 minutes of movement, because I've slacked off as I've been more busy at the computer and I'm not running around in the greenhouses anymore. So I haven't in the past really had to make movement a focus, and I am now. So that is different. It's probably going to be that one. The second one is sleep. I always say that I'm going to do better on getting to bed earlier and more consistently. And that one has been a struggle, but pretty sure movement's going to be my one. That's the one I'm doing first, and I'm going to add in sleep as my second quarter. And then my third and fourth are to be determined. We're going to see how it plays out. I'll reevaluate mid-year and figure out what those last 2 habits are going to be. But I did write on my calendar at the beginning of January what my habit is, and then at the beginning of April, quarter 2, the habit, and then so that it's a prompt for me to remember to go in and set those. So hopefully this gives you some ideas, some inspiration, some excitement for 2026 and your health and your wellness, because it doesn't have to be drudgery. It doesn't have to be the kind of commitment that just feels heavy and bad. I want you to have something to look forward to. I want you to be excited about living, and that attitude and getting your energy up, it all goes together. So anyway, get that calendar completed. That's your challenge for the week, those 3 things, and I'll see you next week.